Hello, everyone, and welcome to my hot button behavior plan. All right, so here's my code of ethics. Children's right. We will not harm any child, either physical or emotional. We will acknowledge and respect each child as an individual with their own beliefs. We will protect the privacy of the child. No child will be excluded from any activity. As for the code of ethics, we will create a safe and open environment where the children are able to express themselves as they choose. If we suspect abuse or neglect, we shall report it to the appropriate agencies and assure that the appropriate actions are taken. We will not participate in practices that discriminate against children, and we will use the appropriate assessment tools to provide appropriate information on the child's learning and development. The three behaviors I chose for my hot button is tattling, interrupting, and shouting. When it comes to tattling, I'm mostly focused on a constant behavior of wanting to get others in trouble. That can be frustrating when you think something wrong has happened, when in actuality, the child is just trying to get someone else in trouble. So one thing I've developed is to ask the children if it's an emergency or if it's tattling. By emergency, I mean, is the child in any physical harm? Is there any risk to the child? Or if it's just trying to get someone in trouble. As for interrupting, I find that to be a bit of annoyance. I do not like when children come up to me when I'm having a conversation with either another child or an adult, and they try to get my attention, interrupt, screaming out loud. What I have started doing is teaching children that whenever I am talking to someone, to put their hand on my wrist to let me know that they want my attention and wait patiently. And then I'll put my hand over their hand. And once I am done, I am able to then pay my attention to them. And as for shouting now, this has to do, for example, during carpet time when I am reading a book or asking questions and a child shouts out. I understand they get excited for knowing the answer or wanting to participate. So what I end up doing is instead of reprimanding their behavior, I say, "Oh, thank you for your input. However, I am looking for someone with a quiet hand to try and de-escalate the situation with the child." As how that affects the relationship with the child, it can create a barrier when attempting to build a relationship with the child. As for the parents, it can hinder the trust factor when trying to build a trusting relationship with the parents. So the plan to So this is what I've come up with before a behavior happens. So when every morning during drop off, I ask the parent what kind of day the child is having. This can give me an insight of what might be happening throughout the day. If the child's having a good day, a bad day, it gives you an insight as to what to expect or what might happen. Create lesson plans on a desired behavior. If constant behavior is happening, we can create a lesson plan to teach the entire class, not trying to single out any child as how to behave in certain situations. Having an open discussion with the parents and discuss any changes they might be observing at home. Getting an understanding of what type of life the child has at home. Get to know about their culture and or religious background. This gives you an insight as to how the child is at home and how that can transfer over into the classroom, and create incentive strategies that will support the children in correcting behaviors without having to give constant reminders. These are some of the steps I recommend doing if you were to be caught during a behavior. 1. Take a step back. 2. Control your breathing. 3, if you have to, count to 10. 4, just relax your body. Consider what the child might be trying to tell you. If possible, try to guide the child through the moment. And if available, offer the child options to try to resolve the issue. We must keep in mind that we as adults have had experience in regulating our emotions, whereas children are still in the process of developing those skills and have not mastered how to self regulate their own thoughts and feelings. Here's what you could do after the behavior: allow time to let your emotions run through your body. Reflect on the event and consider what the child was attempting to tell you. Look at what went well and consider if there might have been another way you could have approached the situation. Ask a colleague for their view and how they might have handled the situation. Take, take some time out of the day to follow up with the child. Although the situation can be stressful, there is a lot of learning to be done both by the child and the teacher, which is why it is good to allow time to self reflect and see how we can help alleviate any stress that the child might have. And this is the letter I wrote to future self and teachers. Dear future self and teachers, you have come a long way in your journey into teaching. I want you to keep in mind as to why you got into teaching. It wasn't for the money or the benefits, it was because you want to make a difference in the lives of children. Your love for teaching and the joy you get when you see children get excited when they have mastered a new skill is why you got into this profession. Teaching can have its good days and bad days, but positive experiences outweigh the negative experiences. On those tough days, take a step back, take a deep breath, and think back on what you've learned. There's more to a child's behavior than just wanting to be a troublemaker. It could be that they have not fully learned how to verbally express their wants and needs, or there is something else happening in their life. No matter what the situation might be, just remember that they look up to you for guidance and assistance. Something as simple as changing the environment could be the solution, or creating activities that revolve around the interests of the child. No matter what the situation might be, just know that you're doing your best to provide a safe and nurturing environment for everyone. If I were to give you one advice, it would be this: always make sure to make time for yourself. Much like children, you too will need a mental break on those hard days. When that happens, take time to do something that can help you alleviate the stress. It could be taking a walk at the park or going for a cup of coffee. The important thing is that you make time for yourself. Sincerely, Angel Benitez. And that is my presentation.